Ancient virus destroys every species in the galaxy. Except humans' best HFY stories. It began as a whisper, a rumor carried through the galaxy by the few who survived. No one knew where it came from, or who had created it. But the virus spread like wildfire. Within weeks, entire star systems fell silent. Their once bustling civilizations reduced to nothing. The great alien species, beasts of unimaginable strength, intellect, and technology, succumbed, one by one, their entire existence erased in a matter of days. The Zorians, an insectoid species known for their hyperintelligence and interstellar dominance, were the first to fall. Their vast cities and sprawling colonies, once filled with trillions of workers and scholars, turned to desolate wastelands. The virus shut down their neurosynaptic systems, effectively disabling their brains. It was swift, merciless, and total. The Valrathi, a race of towering, warlike giants known for their strength and martial prowess, were next. Their ancient battle tactics, honed over thousands of years of war, couldn't save them. The virus attacked their central nervous system, turning their massive bodies into hulking statues of death, standing frozen in their own tracks. Despite their vast physical superiority, they were no match for the unseen enemy. Soon, the virus spread across the entire galaxy, from the aquatic Tauri who communicated through deep vibrations in the oceanic depths, to the telepathic Illyrians who had perfected the art of nonverbal interaction. No species was spared. The virus adapted to every physiology, every culture, every form of life. It didn't care about technology or size, it just killed. Yet, amidst the growing silence, one species was inexplicably immune: humanity. No one could explain it. Humanity's biology was far from perfect. They were frail in comparison to the mighty Valrathi, slower than the Zorians, and less advanced than the Illyrians. But they endured. The virus didn't touch them. It passed through their atmosphere, bypassed their immune systems, and yet somehow, humanity survived. Some believed that the virus had made a miscalculation. Others speculated that humans' adaptability, their unparalleled ability to survive in hostile environments, to innovate under pressure, and to thrive despite the odds, had somehow rendered them immune. Whatever the reason, the humans were left standing, a rare beacon of life amidst the death of the galaxy. In the aftermath, the surviving humans began to piece together the fate of their fallen neighbors. Their leaders, brilliant scientists, and military tacticians worked tirelessly, researching the virus, trying to unlock its secrets. They had to understand why the virus had spared them. What did they have that no other species had? The answer came from an unlikely place. Deep in the archives of an ancient human history, an old legend resurfaced, a story of how humanity had once faced extinction, but had risen from the ashes. It was a tale of survival, resilience, and unity. The myth told of a time when humans had been on the brink of annihilation, yet through sheer will, ingenuity, and a fierce determination to survive, they had turned the tide. The legend spoke of an ancient genetic trait, something that had been passed down from the very first humans who had walked the earth. This trait had made humanity unique. It wasn't their technology, their biology, or their advanced tactics. It was something deeper. It was their spirit. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their strength or intelligence. It was their unyielding will to survive. While other species had been quick to surrender, to succumb to the virus's deadly embrace, humans had refused to yield. They fought back, not with weapons or shields, but with their minds, their resilience, and their unbreakable resolve. And so, humanity became the last bastion of life in the galaxy. They rebuilt what was lost, establishing colonies on forgotten worlds, reviving old technologies, and forging alliances with the few remaining survivors, other species who had also been spared by the virus. Together, they began to rebuild. But this time, humanity was the guiding force. As the years passed, the galaxy slowly came to understand the truth. Humanity was more than just a species. They were a force of nature, a symbol of life's refusal to be extinguished. The virus that had destroyed so many others had underestimated the one thing no one could foresee: the heart of humanity. And in that heart, the galaxy found hope once again. End of story. Ancient virus destroys every species in the galaxy, except humans. Part 2, The Rise of Humanity. The silence of the galaxy was deafening. Where once there had been millions of voices, from the melodic songs of the Tauri to the thunderous roars of the Valrathi, now there was only the haunting quiet. The stars themselves seemed to dim in mourning for the fallen civilizations. Yet, through the emptiness, a flicker of life remained: humanity. When the ancient virus first emerged, there had been chaos. Billions of humans, scattered across countless colonies and homeworlds, saw their neighbors fall one by one. The galaxy, once a vibrant network of interconnected species, had become a graveyard. The virus, which had decimated everyone else, passed over humanity with chilling indifference. At first, many believed the worst had passed, that humanity had simply been lucky, immune by chance. But over the years, it became clear that humanity's survival wasn't an accident, it was a testament to something greater. Humanity's immune systems, once thought to be weak compared to other species, had turned out to be uniquely equipped to withstand the virus. But it wasn't just biology that had saved them, it was their adaptability, their relentless drive to survive. For centuries, humans had adapted to new worlds, new environments, and new threats. When the virus came, humanity didn't just endure, they fought back. The first few years after the fall of the galaxy's civilizations were chaotic. With most of their leadership gone, humanity was left fractured, a species trying to piece itself together in a universe of ruin. The old governments and alliances had crumbled. Without the guidance of other species, humans had to rely on their ingenuity to survive. Humanity turned its focus inward. They scavenged the ruins of alien empires, learning from their advanced technologies. Every surviving human colony became a hub of innovation, where desperate scientists, engineers, and thinkers worked to understand the virus's nature. Some tried to find a cure or a way to reverse the damage, but most of their efforts led to dead ends. The truth was, the virus was perfect in its design. It had no weakness, no obvious flaw. But in the face of this, humanity didn't despair. Instead, they did what they always did: adapted. One of the first breakthroughs came from a group of human biologists who began studying the remnants of fallen alien species. They discovered that while the virus had wiped out the other race's biology, it had never been able to attack the unique, adaptive nature of the human genome. Over centuries of evolution, humanity had developed a complex ability to alter their genetic code, to thrive in conditions that would destroy other life forms. It was this flexibility, this unrelenting ability to evolve, that had kept them safe. But the virus wasn't done yet. Even though humanity had been spared, it continued to spread, its touch still lingering in the dark corners of the galaxy. It wasn't just a killer of species, it was a force that disrupted the balance of life. If humanity didn't act soon, they would eventually face extinction, too. The turning point came when a coalition of human scientists and military leaders formed a secret project known as Genesis. The idea was to create a defense against the virus, not just for humanity, but for the remnants of the galaxy's life. They knew that if they were to reclaim the galaxy, they would need to harness the very adaptability that had saved them. But they needed to move quickly, and they needed to innovate. For years, the Genesis project operated in the shadows, developing new technologies, weapons, and methods for restoring life to the galaxy. They began to reverse engineer the virus, learning how it adapted and mutated with every new host. They realized that the key to defeating it was to understand how it operated on a genetic level, and then to turn that understanding into a weapon of their own. It was a human breakthrough that led to the ultimate solution. Scientists, using the vast libraries of alien genetic material, created a virus of their own. But this one was different. It was a virus designed to target the ancient virus, to neutralize it, and to help rebuild the species that had been lost. Humanity was no longer just fighting to survive, they were fighting to restore the galaxy. As the first trials of the new virus were released, the effects were immediate. Alien species that had once been wiped out by the ancient virus slowly began to show signs of life. Small pockets of the Tauri began to stir in their oceans. Valrathi bodies, once frozen in place, started to twitch with life. The galaxy was not lost after all. However, humanity didn't stop there. The virus was a tool, not a solution. The human leaders knew they had to rebuild not only the species, but the infrastructure that once held the galaxy together. They took the lessons they had learned from other species, their technology, culture, and wisdom, and used them to forge a new civilization. But the most important lesson humanity had learned was this: survival wasn't about being the strongest or the smartest. It was about adaptation, resilience, and the will to push forward when all seemed lost. The virus may have destroyed the galaxy's great empires, but humanity, the last species standing, had shown the universe that they could never be broken. In time, the humans would not only be the saviors of the galaxy, they would be its new rulers, the ones who would shape the future, a future where, no matter the odds, humanity's strength was not in its might, but in its unyielding will to thrive. The ancient virus had wiped out every species in the galaxy, except for humanity, and that was all they needed to rise again. End of Part 2. Ancient virus destroys every species in the galaxy, except humans. Part 3. The Age of Humanity. With the galaxy beginning to stir from its long, unnatural silence, humanity found itself at the helm of a new age. The rest of the universe, once dominated by powerful and diverse alien civilizations, now looked to humanity for leadership and guidance. In the wake of the ancient virus, humans had not only survived, but were the architects of the galaxy's rebirth. Their ingenuity and resilience had saved them from extinction, and in turn, they had become the stewards of life itself. However, the road to rebuilding was far from smooth. Though humanity had successfully neutralized the ancient virus and started reviving the galaxy's lost species, the devastation was still immense. The delicate balance of intergalactic politics, trade, and culture had shattered with the death of so many species. The alliances that once spanned the stars were now reduced to fractured fragments of their former selves. Entire ecosystems were gone, leaving planets barren and lifeless. The remnants of once proud civilizations, their histories reduced to dust, needed restoration. Humanity didn't flinch. They got to work. A council was formed, a new intergalactic alliance where humans took the lead, not as conquerors, but as restorers. With their vast knowledge of science, medicine, and diplomacy, they began to heal the wounds of the galaxy. They brought the survivors of the Zorians, Valrathi, Tauri, and other species into the fold. These species were not just restored genetically. Humanity sought to rebuild the social structures, the cultures, and the histories that had been lost in the virus's wake. At the heart of this new galactic order was the understanding that humanity's greatest strength lay in its capacity to rebuild, to adapt, and to work together. The human drive to innovate and evolve, which had kept them alive, now became the foundation upon which the galaxy would grow. The first major project under the new human-led galactic initiative was the Resurgence Network. It was a complex system of technologies designed to revive not just the species that had been decimated, but also the ecosystems that supported them. This involved everything from bioengineering new flora and fauna for planets that had lost their native species, to terraforming barren worlds into thriving habitats once again. For the first time in generations, the galaxy began to hum with life. But as humanity's influence spread, some began to question their role in this new galaxy. Not all species were content to be restored and led by a race that had been nearly wiped out themselves. The Valrathi, the mighty warlords of the past, chafed under human leadership. Their pride and sense of honor demanded they take control, to restore their species to its former glory. The Zorians, whose intelligence and technological advancements once made them a galaxy-spanning empire, were not pleased to be dependent on humans for their resurgence. Though the virus had brought species to their knees, it had not crushed their spirits. The ancient warlike tendencies of the Valrathi remained, and the Zorians still held deep-seated ambitions of regaining their former power. Tensions began to rise, and old rivalries began to simmer beneath the surface of the new order. The first major test of humanity's leadership came when the Valrathi demanded more autonomy. Their leaders, once mighty and revered in their culture, refused to accept the idea that they would be under human jurisdiction. They made it clear that they would not be content to be restored and protected. They wanted their power back. The tension reached a breaking point when the Valrathi, in a bold move, attempted to seize control of one of the human-established colonies. It was a dangerous gamble, one that could tear apart the fragile peace humanity had worked so hard to establish. But what the Valrathi hadn't accounted for was the unity that humanity had cultivated in the face of such overwhelming odds. The human military, though vastly smaller than the once mighty armies of the Valrathi, had learned the art of survival in ways no other species had. Their strategy wasn't based on brute strength, but on cleverness, resourcefulness, and teamwork. Humanity had fought and survived under the worst conditions, and now, they turned that experience into their advantage. In a decisive battle, the humans and their allies, from the revived Tauri to the reformed Zorians, held their ground against the Valrothi forces. Using advanced tactics and the element of surprise, they managed to force the Valrothi to retreat. The victory wasn't just a military one, it was a symbolic moment. It proved to the galaxy that humanity had not only survived the virus, it had proven itself capable of leading in the face of adversity. After the battle, there was no more question of human leadership. The Valrothi, though proud and fierce, had seen the wisdom of working alongside humans rather than against them. The Zorians, too, begrudgingly accepted the new order, understanding that humanity's capacity for cooperation and innovation was what the galaxy needed to rebuild. In the years that followed, humanity continued to lead the galaxy into an era of prosperity, though never without challenges. There were occasional uprisings, small pockets of resistance, but the vast majority of species recognized that humanity's survival had been a gift, one they were unwilling to squander. The galaxy, now united under the banner of humanity, began to flourish once more. Humanity had become the glue that held the galaxy together, and in return, the galaxy became humanity's canvas, a place where their adaptability and ingenuity could transform the cosmos into something new. They had not just survived an ancient virus that had wiped out their neighbors, they had become the new stewards of the galaxy, shaping its future and creating a legacy that would stand for millennia. The age of humanity had begun, the stars were once again alive, and humanity stood at the center of it all, fierce, unyielding, and determined to ensure that this time, the galaxy would never fall again. End of Part 3.